Dave, so how do you Bears fans are so excited because what happened week one.
Right.
Because they won.
And they should be. They should be.
Of course.
But they should be excited. Go ahead. Finish your.
Well, I guess
I
my,
talked over you. TV talk. Go ahead.
My only question is, like, to me, that was an awesome win.
Right.
But I don't really know if I learned a lot about the Bears just because it was a weird game. Like, weird things happen in those types of weather games.
But I'll tell you what I learned. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Number one, 3 penalties to 12 or 13 by the 49ers. And that's consistent from preseason.
Yes.
2 big pass plays, okay, given up. And the other side gave up 2. That's over 20 yards I'm talking about. So that tells me that the Bears, which we knew were going to play, 4 down linemen, very, very little blitz. They were like, I think it was 5th when Matt was at Indy last year. They were 5th or 7th least amount of pressures of any team in the NFL. That's what we're going to see. But they do a lot of multiple things on the back end coverage-wise and don't give up the big play. You are going to have to beat the Bears, and the Bears won the turnover margin by 1 against the Niners. So forget about the X and O's for right now. They win the penalty battle. They win the turnover battle. They don't give up big plays. That tells me that you're on the right path with a chance to win every week. It's that's the only way and I didn't have the talent, obviously, that they have here right now, but I remember coming out of games and, the guys would say, Coach, we did it. And I said, oh, yeah, we won. Yeah, we did it. They said, no, we had no penalties and we had no turnovers. And that's what we had to do to give ourselves a chance to win. But at the end of the day, you look around the NFL, how about Cincinnati? 32 first downs to Pittsburgh's, 11? And they get beat because of 5 turnovers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And New England Patriots, 3 turnovers. The Dolphins, it's the same song you've been hearing for 50 years. And it's not going to change.
There's so much good football about the Bears that we can discuss with you. And the nuances of that defense, Daryl Johnston kind of struggled to talk about it as a bend, don't break. But I understand where he's coming from because of some of the stuff that you just said.
Who said that?
Well, Daryl Johnston during the game, Moose Johnston called it a bend, don't break.
Well, that's fine. That's what they called ours, and we were number 1 in the NFL in defense.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right, so we'll get to that. But that overall thing that you're talking about, where the whole team is clearly buying in.
Yep.
The whole roster is clearly buying in because they're playing clean. They seem to be living this hits principle pretty solidly.
Yes.
Like hustle, intensity, takeaways, and playing smart. They seem to be buying in. So as you describe the discipline that you're seeing, this is what Bears fans are feeling, and it feels good to see this level of football competence on display, and that bodes well for the rest of the year, right?
Absolutely. It's the fundamental things that you have to really, if you don't have these when you're starting to build a new football culture or whatever word you want to use, you got no chance. So, no, I liked it, and I saw some promising things with Justin Fields. And everybody, is he going to do things right now that Tom Brady's going to do? No, don't put that. But is he better doing what he's doing now than was he a year ago? Absolutely.
What?
On the touchdown to Dante Pettis, when he rolls out, they had a pass rush, and he avoided the rush, and he rolled out, okay? And do you remember during training camp, the players were saying that Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, was working on a scramble drill. Well, for our listeners, that's actually like a play, as crazy as it sounds. And I was never exposed to that until really at the Bears when we had Matt Cavanaugh came in. And they did that at San Francisco with Montana and Bill Walsh all the time. Quarterback starts scrambling. All the receivers to the side of the quarterback are doing specific things, but they're working back to the ball. If you're away from the quarterback, you try to separate yourself like Dante Pettis did away from the ball. And the best 2 things that happened in that play that everybody needs to realize, number one, Justin Fields did not tuck the ball and run. Mm-hmm. A year ago, I would bet you that's bottle of bourbon right here. Seriously, he was going to tuck the ball and run for 10 yards. What does he do? He got the scramble drill in the back of his mind. He stops, and he finds really his safety valve across the field. He didn't try to force it into where there were 9 guys. He throws it to his safety valve for a touchdown. That, to me, says, that, great design by the coaches of covering that on a basis.
But he trusts what he's seeing. He trusts what they're doing.
But he's kind of understanding it. And the second touchdown, okay, here we go. The second touchdown, after the interception by Eddie Jackson, they go play action pass. Now, the play that they ran, we ran that here with Raymond Harris. Okay, it's all it is in layman terms is it's a 2-level route. Somebody into the flat and somebody running a corner route behind them. Okay, and so you put the defense in a bind. You want to cover the deep one, we'll throw it the short one. If you want to jump the short one in the flat, we'll throw the deep one over the top. So the quarterback's got to make a decision on this. And the Bears ran it. I don't know if it was a fullback or tight end into the flat, and then it was the wide receiver.
Equanimous St. Brown?
St. Brown, who runs the corner route, okay? Same concept, same play. And Justin Fields, again, has to make a decision. Where am I going with the ball, 1 or 2? So, it's maybe it's baby steps, but it's positive steps. And that's the way I'm looking at it.
Dave Wannstedt in studio with us. So now as we spin ahead then to the Packers game, it's baby steps, but now you're on the road at Lambeau. Conditions might not be perfect. There is some rain in the forecast, but normal football game conditions. What's reasonable to expect for Sunday night?
Yeah, I would forget about the conditions. This one concerns me. I'll tell you what. Before the year started, I was doing a couple of these shows wherever, talking to people, and I said, the best part of Green Bay's team, to me, early, is going to be that defense. I mean, they were a top 10 defense a year ago, basically, for the most part, and they added 2 number 1 picks to that defense, the linebacker from Georgia, the defensive lineman from Georgia. I said, these guys are going to be better than they were a year ago. They played terrible against the Vikings. I mean, Jefferson was wide open. They're playing like a 3-deep zone, and it wasn't a jump ball where he went up and he was wide open. I bet your money it's not going to happen this week. This defense, the Bears are going to get, or the Bears offense is going to get the best effort that this Green Bay defense can possibly give. And it's going to be real rough on them. This is going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a defensive struggle on both sides. That's what's going to make the difference in this game.
He's scaring me.
Yeah, it's reality, Spigs. Come on. The birthday's over. Let's go. It's Sunday now. Sunday night.
All right, well, so what I want to talk to you about then is defensively, the Vikings made Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable. But you were talking about an Eberflus defense not being known to get a lot of pressures, and obviously the Bears don't have the pass rushing talent that the Vikings do. So what do you do if you're scheming up this defense, or what do you expect Eberflus to do and Alan Williams to do on Sunday night? We'll pick it up there and keep drinking bourbon and scotch for Speaks' birthday. It's Parkins Spiegel on the Score. There you go.
Whatever you want, Coach. It's your world.
It is your world.
That's my ringtone. It's a lovely day.
Oh, Lovely Day is a beautiful track.
Kenny, you know that one? You ever heard that one?
Oh, man, huh?
How quick is he?
It doesn't get any better.
What is that, man?
It doesn't get any better.
It's almost as if Tanny has heard your ringtone before and might have been a little aware to have that queued up.
Has a file of Dave Wannstedt approved music.
7 references that he makes.
Tanny, did my phone ring at dinner the other night?
No, you're one of the good ones. You kept it off the table.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a shot at the rest of us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Deserved.
Yeah, we were relatively present, I would say.
You tease this with a question. What was the question?
So my question is, everyone's talking about how this Tampa 2 defense, the Bears fans we all know so well, right? Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy and Rod Marinelli and now Matt Eberflus. You're gonna have your safeties, and you're gonna make the other team dink and dunk it down the field. And long drives, and maybe they get impatient and they take a shot, and that's when you get a turnover, right? That's the general formula salute for success here. Aaron Rodgers is pretty damn good at picking people apart, and the Vikings, when I watched that game, their front seven, their pass rush, those edge guys, they made him very, very uncomfortable. So can the Bears do both? I don't feel like the Bears have the pass rush talent to, like the Vikings do, to make Rodgers uncomfortable. And if the idea is, well, he'll just make mistakes because he's going to get impatient, he seems like the type of guy who can pick you apart at this point of his career.
I think the biggest thing that Aaron Rodgers learned from this last game was that his receivers, he was counting on those receivers, I think, coming open a little bit quicker. And you could see him holding on to the football. And that extra second, think about the Bears' first game with Khalil Mack. What was that, 3 years ago? Remember Khalil Mack's first game?
2018.
On the Thursday night when Mack dominated the first half.
The Packers game.
And Rodgers got hurt, remember?
Yeah.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
And
with the leg, and then he had a great second half.
And then he comes out the second half, and they put up a stat that he was holding the ball about 2.8 seconds in the first half, looking for receivers. In the second half, he came out and said this ball was going to be gone before 2.5 seconds.
Right.
And the Bears never got around him the second half, and he made a bunch of plays, and they won the game. I think that's what they're talking about right now. He's sitting there saying, we either got to run routes that these guys are going to come open right now or scratch it because I can't hold the ball. The offensive line, they weren't sure how these guys would hold up. Maybe they didn't have a lot of respect for the Bears, other than Quinn, a bunch of free agent guys. It's a new defensive line. So maybe they underestimated how good the Bears' defensive line could be. So you got that part of it, and then they probably, overestimated how good their receivers would be. So I think now they'll figure that out, and it's not going to be the same game plan. There's going to be a lot more run this week, a lot more screens this week to those running backs. The tight end's going to be a factor in it. This is just me thinking as a defensive coach. This is what I would be getting ready for if I'm Matt, the head coach, Eberflus.
Your guy.
My guy. This is what I would be getting ready for.
Well, it's interesting because you were talking about the nuances of the defense earlier and what they want to do, and we mentioned the bend, don't break. Those young receivers, I think, and that's the way this defense is designed, the Bears secondary is going to try to beat the bejesus out of those wide receivers and knock the ball out of their hands, whether it's on the pass and they create a ball in the air to get an interception or after the catch and they create a fumble. But like Brisker and some of these other corners hitting the hell out of Christian Watson and Romeo Dubes.
And they should be able to do it.
Those are the guys they should attack. I mean, you're smart talking about how Matt LaFleur might vary the offense with ways to attack, but I assume that Matt Eberflus and Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, are thinking about beating the hell out of those wide receivers and trying to get the ball out of their hands.
Absolutely. I think that's probably... I think in their minds, when they draw it up on the board, they say, we win this battle, we win this battle. We can take their wide receivers out of the game because we are better at the corner position. Here's the key. I would say if Green Bay comes out and starts running the ball with Aaron Jones and Dillon, then they're going to have to get Brisker involved in the running game. And the minute that you bring your safety into the run game, right now the Bears are playing the run with just the front seven, the 4 down guys and the linebackers. That's it. And all the secondary guys are playing coverage, which you can now play 2. You can play 2-man. You can play bracket. I mean, I could go on for an hour naming all the coverages with 2 safeties involved. The minute one of them is out of the coverage and you get involved with the 1 deep safety, you are limited. So I think how much Green Bay tries to run it, and how well the Bears play the run will have a lot to do with the pass coverage.
Brisker has the potential to be special, doesn't he?
Yep.
Like the way that he's physical and the way that he attacks. And do you think they should use him more up with that front seven and attacking?
Only if they have to. I would not. I always started with my safeties with their normal, whatever we were playing, depth, and try to stop it with the front seven. I would even go to the extreme of doing a little bit of movement with my front guys and changing up the linebackers' alignments to try to give the offense some bad plays with my front seven, so I did not need a safety. And if all of a sudden you're saying to yourself, we can't hold up, they're running the ball, Now the safety comes down, and now you got to change what you're calling on the back end.
We've talked to you about this different iterations before, but this time it's a little different. You know Luke Getsy, and he obviously was with the Packers just last year. They've said they're going to rely on him for game planning and scouting reports across the team. How much do you think, based on you knowing him, how much is that an advantage for the Bears coaching staff in game plan and preparation?
Well, he won't know the young receivers and stuff, but I think he will know, maybe not as much, player-wise. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, what's he going to say about Aaron? He might have 1 point, but I think
the teams know each other pretty well anyway.
Yeah, but I think philosophy-wise, if you know what the head coach is thinking, I mean, I can remember us, playing, whoever. When we first got into the league, we pretty much knew Joe Gibbs had been in the league a long time. He was the head coach of the Redskins, won Super Bowls, and he was still in critical situations go back to what he believed in. So I think you may get something like that from Getsy saying, hey, I know Matt LaFleur, he's not going to change, guys. He really believes in this situation, something like that.
What has Getsy told you about LaFleur? LaFleur's numbers?
Nothing.
Really?
I haven't asked him anything about that. No.
I mean, LaFleur is kind of unbelievable. Like his numbers are highest winning percentage of any coach first 50 games NFL history.
The best.
It's pretty amazing.
To me, the best thing that Matt LaFleur's done is he has managed that team with early on. Aaron Rodgers, general manager. Aaron's leaving. Aaron's quitting. They're going to start the new guy. I mean, there was a lot of moving parts early in Matt's career at Green Bay, and he managed all that stuff and still got his input with Aaron Rodgers when Aaron may have thought, you know what, I know more than you do. We're not going to change this. I've won a Super Bowl. I mean, all those personality things can become a factor, and I thought the guy did a fantastic job of managing all that stuff.
Just in case we get to this point, this has come up a couple times during the week on this show. The Buffalo Bills figured something out with Brian Daboll and Josh Allen together, right? And then Daboll gets the job in New York and goes to the Giants. And Ken Dorsey was the quarterback coach in Buffalo. Now he's elevated to the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, and he's the guy that works with Josh Allen. So far, so good. One game. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. There's a common fear on this show and in this town that if Luke Getsy and Justin Fields really figure something out together, that Getsy will then leave and be a head coach somewhere possibly, and then your guy, Andrew Janocko, who you know even better than Getsy, right?
True.
So Janocko, who is the quarterback coach, may or may not be called upon to elevate to offensive coordinator. Is he ready for that in a year if he needed to be ready for that in a year?
Oh, I think he would be, but, that would be a nice problem, Spigs, to have. I think we got to look at that and they've won one game, right?
It's early, I know, but our boy likes to think down the line.
I know. I mean, and that's.
I like to call plays, Dave. You gotta let me call plays.
I know you do. You wouldn't call a run. You would do what the guy at Denver did. Hackett did.
No,
you would not get your tongue. No, wait a second.
No, I would have gone for it on fourth down. I would have passed.
No,
yeah,
forget about that.
They needed another pass play, Dave.
Coach, they were on the 1 yard line twice, and they went in a shotgun.
They gave it to the wrong running back.
Forget
give
about
it to Williams.
the wrong
Don't give it to Gordon.
How much momentum can a running back get when he's shuffling back there sideways?
You know
None.
what? If I got a $250 million quarterback, I might put his ball in his hands sometimes.
You get in the goal line, you go quarterback sneak on the first sign, set hot, and you score a touchdown. What are we talking about?
That's fine. I bet you loved kicking a 64-yarder, didn't you?
No, it wasn't about the last call. You know what it was about?
I'm asking you about the last call.
Well, he's saying what it's about overall.
They fumbled.
No, well, those two, you should have won by 10. And then wait, let me say this: it wasn't that last crazy play, kick the field goal, go for it. It started with 2 minutes to go. The guy is inbounds and the clock is running. You stop the clock. You got 3 timeouts. And you huddle up.
Dave, do you know how much Madden I've played in my life?
Here's the thing.
We would have been executed down the field.
Yeah, that's why I would probably ran the ball and got under center and ran a quarterback sneak for a
here's the
touchdown
thing.
because I never played Madden.
The
Kicked a
amount of
59-yard
Madden,
field goal.
The amount of Madden that he played is indicative of the issue that he has. You know, remember he wanted Nathaniel Hackett over Matt Eberflus.
I already
several months ago.
apologized for
He
that, Dave.
apologized for it on Tuesday. It was the lead on Tuesday, Dave. Thanks for listening. But you know, it's he was a Hackett guy, and now he sees the wisdom. It's results over process for this one.
I think Hackett's a good coach. I really do.
No, he's an idiot.
And he's trying to call plays. He's trying to do a lot. You know, I mean, it's no. But you don't say. When I would go up, when I was at the Bears, and I would go up to whoever it was, Keith Armstrong, Danny Abramowitz, my special teams coach, and I'd say, okay, where do we got to be? You know, what's the maximum distance for a field goal? And if he said, let's just pull a number out, 50-yard line. Okay, great. In my mind, I'm thinking 50-yard line, last play of the game, no time left on the clock. It's desperation. It's not when
It's not you get there, you get an inch past the yard line, and now you settle down.
Hell no.
Yeah. Well, so does Nathaniel Hackett know that?
Yes, he knows that. His dad was in the league. Yes, he knows that. I mean,
hey, that stuff. But
it would
that
appear that he
clock
does not know that.
you're on the goal line on the 1-yard line twice, and you fumble.
Yeah.
Was there clock management stuff that shocked you?
Let me ask you something. How much did Russell Wilson and the starting group at Denver play in the preseason? They didn't. They didn't. 75% of the teams that did not play their starters
I saw this
lost.
Yeah.
Lost.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Tom Brady comes back from his 11-day little excursion with his wife trying to get his purse. And what does he do? He walks into Todd Bowles' office. I'm going to end on this. He walks into Todd Bowles' office.
You're going to have to be doing something.
Okay. He walks into Todd Bowles' office and he says, I'm playing in the final preseason game.
Because he knows he needs to feel it.
And
get out there.
everybody in Tampa says, Tom, you're out of your mind. He says, no, I'm not. I need to play and play full speed football.
How'd those Pitt and West Virginia players do in the preseason? Oh, wait, they didn't have him.
They didn't have any, and Pitt could have lost the damn game when they were 10
There's no
points better
preseason in
team.
college. Why do pros need preseason?
He just said.
Did you hear the stat that I gave you?
I did. But if Ohio State can play Notre Dame.
How often did Denver line up in the preseason and on a 1-yard line and hand the ball? I'll tell you what.
You know what?
all right.
Coach Parkins, here's what he wants. That's the problem. Hey, Danny, we got 3 stories out of the coach at dinner. We got to one of them today. Him, Ditka, Schottenheimer, and Namath sitting around Ditka's restaurant in Naples at 2 a.m. talking about stuff. That's amazing. There are 2 others, Coach. We know you got to go, but we're going to get them out of you over these next few weeks.
Okay.
Right? These next few weeks, we're going to get those stories out of you. They're too good.
Send me a text on them because I gotta see if we can talk about it.
yeah. Some of them might be off the record. There's no way to know. Dan Wiederer at 5 o'clock. Mike Martz at 5:30. Coming up next, children picking football games against their fathers and winning most of the time. It's Parkins and Spiegel on the Score.